Um, just going to share my screen now. Right. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here with me today. And a big thank you to Access Alliance for having us here to provide some information about the upcoming election. My name is Jess Karen Gill. I am the Public Engagement and Education Officer at Elections Ontario. And once again, here to talk about the provincial general election, which is scheduled for June 2nd. So we have a lot to cover today. These are the bullet points and what I will cover. The first is an overview of Elections Ontario and what it is we do. Then what you should know about the voting process. Then I'll cover the many days and ways that are available to vote in the election. I'll also talk about some of the tools and services that we have here that make voting a little bit more easy. Then I will talk about what's new this election. I'll wrap up by talking about job opportunities and how non-eligible voters can be involved in the elections. And then, of course, I will take any questions that you may have at the end. So what is Elections Ontario? We are a nonpartisan office of the Legislative Assembly of Ontario. So what this means is that we are not aligned with any political party or political leaning. Our job is to oversee and administer by-elections and provincial elections in the province. And we are committed to making voting easy and accessible for all electors. So I will be talking about returning offices throughout this presentation. So it's important to get an understanding of what it is they do and what they are. So a returning office is the election headquarters in your community. Some of the services that they provide is advanced voting, special ballot voting, assisted voting technology for those who experience disabilities, employment opportunities, and also voter registration. And I will go into detail about each of these in the coming slides. So who is eligible to vote in a provincial election? You must be 18 years of age on election day. You have to be a Canadian citizen and a resident of Ontario to be able to vote. Voting gives Ontarians the power to express their opinion, participate in our democratic process, and choose a person to represent them. So when you're voting in a provincial election, you are voting for your member of provincial parliament. And there is one person voted in per electoral district, and there are 124 electoral districts within Ontario. And after the presentation, I will go through our website and you can see how you can learn more about your electoral district and see the candidates that are running in that district. So just to give you a little bit more information about what provincial governments do, they're responsible for an array of different things, including provincial taxes, hospitals, education, marriage, correctional facilities, property and civil rights, rules of the road, and age of majority. So if you are interested or care about any of these topics, you will definitely want to vote in the election. So what you should know about voting is first that it is private. Anyone who is eligible to vote can only cast one vote. And it is a right that is guaranteed by the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. So now I'll go over the days and ways that you have to vote in this upcoming election. There's more details on our website, but I'll go over each one briefly. So to begin, you can vote early at your returning office, and you can do that as early as now until 6 p.m. on June 1st. And you can find your returning office on our website at voterinformationservice.elections.on.ca. And once again, we're going to go over our website at the end, and you can visually see how exactly you can find that returning office in your electoral district. So you can also vote early by mail. You can apply to vote by mail by visiting votebymail.elections.on.ca. You can also download and print an application form and send it back to us, or you can call 1-888-668-8683 for an application form. Voters have until May 27th to submit their application. And once it is approved, you will get a prepaid envelope with your ballot and your voting kit with a ballot and your prepaid envelope. It's important to note that once you choose this method to vote, you will not be able to vote in any other method. So make sure that this is the way that you want to vote. And lastly, we must receive your completed voting kit by 6 p.m. Eastern Time on June 2nd for it to be counted. And it's also important to note that the ID requirements to vote by mail are a little bit different than if you were to go in person. So you should go on our website to find that information out. It's elections.on.ca/ID-requirements. And then you will also be able to vote early at an advance poll. This begins May 19th and runs until May 28th. You can vote at any voting location in your electoral district, and you'll find a number of locations for advance voting, and you can choose any one of them to vote. For a full list of locations and dates, again, you can go to voterinformationservice.elections.on.ca. And actually, this is we encourage people to take advantage of the advance polls because COVID is still a reality. Polling locations on election day will be really busy. So if you want to avoid lineups and just get it done really quickly, we strongly encourage you to vote at an advance poll. And of course, you can vote in person on election day at your assigned voting location from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Time on June 2nd. And once again, you can find this location on voterinformationservice.elections.on.ca. So for those of you who have never voted in an election, and this will be your first time, this is basically how the process will go. So once you go to your voting location, there will be signs all across showing you where to go. There will also be staff that will greet you and a poll official who will take your ID, verify it. And then once you are verified, you will be given your ballot and you will be able to vote that way. So how you mark your ballot, once again, the election official will give you the ballot and it has your candidates that are running in your electoral district on that ballot. The voter will go behind the privacy screen. So this picture here, you can see that this is it. You'll go behind it, mark your ballot. You will need to make an X inside the circle of the candidate that you want to vote for. So now I'll just go over some of the tools and services that make it a little bit more easy to vote. So the first is e-registration. It's an online tool that allows you to add, confirm, or update your information. You can visit eregistration.elections.on.ca. And the last day to register online would be May 23rd for this upcoming election. So it's important to confirm, update, or add your information. This is especially important if you are not on the registry voter list, or if, for example, you moved and you changed your address, or if you changed your name. If all that is good, then great, you're ready to vote. If not, you can do so once again at eregistration.elections.on.ca. But if you are unable to, if you don't have internet access, or if you're, if you aren't comfortable doing it online, you can visit your returning office. And also when you go to vote, you can request that you be registered to vote. And this will make it easier for you to vote in future elections. So once you are on the voters list, you will be mailed a voter information card telling you where and when to vote. And you can see it pictured here. It will show you your electoral district and all the voting locations, as well as the times. So along with this voter information card, you will bring one piece of ID that has your name, and you will be able to vote. If you are not on the voters list, like I said, you will still be able to vote, but you'll need to bring a piece of ID that shows both your name and your residential address. If you want to see what kind of IDs are accepted, you can visit our website at elections.on.ca/ID-requirements. So if you face a linguistic barrier to voting, you can bring a friend or a support person for assistance, and they will be able to help you provide translations. We also have a guide called Marking Your Ballot at all polling stations in 38 languages. And we also have voting instructions and information in 38 languages on our website at elections.on.ca. So we also have tools and services available for those who experience disabilities. And this is available at voting locations as well as returning offices. And I'll go over each one of those in the coming slides. So the tools and services that we have available at voting locations include booking of an American Sign Language interpreter or intervener. So the elector is the one who will book this, but Elections Ontario will cover the cost. You can also use your mobile device as an accessibility tool. You can request a magnifier or braille ballot template if you have a visual impairment. And you can also bring a friend, a support person, or a service animal if you need assistance. Some of the tools that we have available at returning offices include assistive voting technology, and this is available from May 21st to June 1st, or by appointment on election day. We strongly encourage to book an appointment if you want to use this on election day because it will be very busy. You can also call your returning office to request a home visit if you're unable to go to your returning office because of a disability, if you're unable to read or write, if you're unable to complete an application form, or you are someone who requires assistance. And you can call your returning office to request curbside voting at a voting location. So what this is the ballot will be brought to you outside of the voting location, and you will be able to cast your ballot that way. And this way you don't have to go inside the voting location. And then lastly, you can request a transfer to a location that is better equipped to meet your accessibility needs. If you want more information about any of this that I've discussed, you can visit elections.on.ca/accessible-voting. So now I'm just going to briefly go over some of the assistive voting technology that we have at returning offices. There are 3 controller options. The first one is the audio tactile interface, which is on the very left here. It has audio directions, features large raised buttons, has bright colors and braille inscriptions. There are also paddles, so you can see the red left and the blue right. And you can use your hands, feet, or elbows to be able to cast your vote. And then we also have the sip and puff technology, which allows voters to mark their ballot by inhaling or exhaling into a straw. Now I'll talk about what's new this election. We're very excited to have launched the Elections Ontario app. It is available for download on Google Play and the Apple Store if you have a smart device. So once you download the app and create an account, you will have access to a list of candidates for your electoral district, a full list of voting locations and dates, a scannable version of your voter information card. And this is great in case you, forgot it at home or you misplaced it. It's right there accessible on your phone. And then you'll also get customizable election notifications. So if for any reason something happens at your voting location, it needs to be moved, you can get that information right through a notification. And the app has been designed to comply with the Accessibility for Ontarians with Disabilities Act and to be compatible with assistive technologies. So now I'll just go over the job opportunities that we have. If you're interested in working as an election official or at an advanced voting location or on election day, our applications are posted on our website. You can visit jobs.elections.on.ca to find out more. And I'd also like to inform you that we do have one position. It's called information assistant roles. And you do not need to be a Canadian citizen to be able to apply for this. You just have to be 16 years of age and older and have a social insurance number. And now just a little bit of information how non-eligible voters can get involved. You can, as I mentioned, work the election as an information assistant. You can also volunteer or donate to a political party if you, find that your views align with any political party. That would be a great way for you to get involved and learn about the political system. You can also follow the media coverage and discuss these issues with your friends and family. So just a quick word about COVID. I know that for some individuals, COVID is still quite a concern. We have been working with the Office of the Chief Medical Officer of Health over the past 2 years to ensure that voting is safe for both voters and our staff. The best measures have been put in place based on information given by public health units and municipalities because it does vary from city to city. And some of these measures include physical distancing, hand sanitizer, and plexiglass barriers. So all the information that I've discussed is available on our website, and we will go over that once this part has concluded. So like I mentioned, this is our website and you can see everything here. So thank you so much all for listening to my presentation. I can try to answer any questions that you have. If you don't have any questions, we can go to the website and do a little bit of exploring.
So we don't have any questions in the chat, but please feel free to unmute yourself if you do have a question. Okay, Vinyofa says they're not able to stay, but thank you so much for the presentation.
Oh, okay.
Maria, I see that you unmuted
You're
yourself.
welcome.
Did you have a question?
Yeah, I just wanted to know whether you still have position.
Yes, we are still hiring for jobs and we're hiring up until May 31st. So
Okay.
if you are interested, strongly encourage you.
Advanced polling, any chance?
Advanced polling, yes, and as well as election day.
Okay, so if it's advanced starting tomorrow on 19, right?
Yes, that's correct.
And when will they give training? No need of training?
Sorry?
There's no need of training? Or just...
No, yes, there will be training. And so once you apply, the returning office for the electoral district will, sorry, I'm just hearing some feedback. So, so once you apply, the returning office for your electoral district will contact you and they will arrange the training and then get you started in working the election.
But if I want to work on the advanced polling, that is on 19, right?
It's May 19th to the 28th. So
Yeah.
you might be hired on the 20th or the 21st.
I see.
Yeah, so
So how many days the advance polling?
it is 10 days.
Oh, I see. So I can't get to work all 10 days?
You might not be able to, depending on when they get back to you. That's why you should, if possible, try to get your application in as soon as possible.
How do I apply?
So I just put the link in the chat
Yeah.
below.
Okay.
So if you can go on there and apply.
Yeah.
And I just like to, I do see Rabul. I'm sorry if I said that incorrectly. His hand is up, but I wanted to go through the voter information service so individuals here can see how to search up their electoral district.
Okay.
Should we do that now, Miranda, or should we get some more questions?
Maybe Rabiul, we can just hear what your question is, and then we can save that demonstration for after, if that works. Rabiul, did you want to unmute?
I'll unmute you. Thank you. Thank you for discussing about the provincial election.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know how I can get involved in the provincial election, because I submitted my application online, as well as I submitted my application in person in the returning office, but I didn't get any information from either side.
Okay, and can you just clarify if you had tried to reach out by calling?
No.
Okay, so I think this would be a good point to show individuals here on this call how to search up the electoral district. That way you can get in touch with them and ask them about your application status. So I'm just using the postal code of Access Alliance, but if you are looking for your electoral district, please put in your residential address, and that way you will be able to find your electoral district. So you'll just search, and here's all of the information. So everything that I discussed in the presentation, you can find. So we can see here, it says Scarborough Southwest. You can click here to find out where to vote on election day. If you want to vote in person before election day, there's a number of advanced voting locations. This is the returning office, and you can find the phone number of the returning officer here. So like I mentioned, if you applied for a job, the returning office is the one who would do the hiring. So I would take down, not this number, but make sure that you are searching with your postal code. And then you would go to vote in person before election day. You would contact that phone number that you see there, and they will be able to provide more information. Thank you, Ari, for adding that into the chat. You can also find information to vote by mail, and then you can see the candidates that are running in your district. This again, once again, to apply. If you want to contact your returning officer, information is here. And you could even see there's an address if you want to, if you think it might be better to visit them in person to ask what's happening with your application, you can do that as well. And this is just the checklist so you are well prepared to vote. So that was the voter information service. So once again, I'm just going to remind you that you will enter your postal code for your residential address where you live here. And once you add that there, you will be directed to the page where you will find information about your electoral district, including the contact information for your returning office. So this is our website. You can find under the voting tab, which I think would be the most relevant for you and where you can find information. Again, finding your electoral district, the ways to vote, voter registration, ID requirements. There's some frequently asked questions that you can visit and see what other people are asking. So I'm just gonna click on the ways to vote because you can find under here the information in different languages. And you can see that we have many different languages here. And there's information here about political entities that includes the parties and candidates. And then when you go over our resources tab, you'll be able to find handouts and brochures. So the next question is, can I know what positions are available and are they still accepting the applications if we want to work in advance voting? So yes, here you can see the types of positions that are available. The first one is the information assistant. And as I mentioned, you don't need to be Canadian citizen to apply for that one. There is the tabulator, deputy returning officer, and then also as an election official. So once you click on get started, you'll just read this privacy note, click next, and you'll enter this information. And yeah, once you get through to the next page, you'll enter your details, address, all that information. And please note that you do not need a resume to apply. So it's a very simple, straightforward process. And the question is, are they still accepting applications for advanced polling? Yes, they are.
So just to confirm, if somebody had already submitted an application and hadn't heard back, then they would contact the returning office directly to follow up. That's kind of the next step that they would take.
Yes, that's
Okay.
correct.
Yeah. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Rabiul, did you get the information you're looking for? I see your hand is still up, so I'm not sure if you still had a question or if you just had it up from before.
I think it's just from before.
Any other questions? Yeah, I think we're good. Yeah, thank you so much, Jessica, for your presentation. It was very informative. And we look forward to receiving the PDF version of your slides, which we're going to be sharing out as well. So that will include all of the links that you saw today. So yeah, thank you so much. I think we can probably excuse you now as we move on to the next part of our session. Thanks
Great.
once again.
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone. This has been a pleasure. If you have additional questions, you can email us at outreach. I'll actually put it in the chat. outreach@elections.on.ca. All right, thank you all and have a great night. Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Okay, so we can move on to the next portion of the session, which is kind of just maybe first I can share my screen for a second, because I did want to share, in addition to this workshop, we are involved in a couple additional upcoming events in the lead up to the provincial election. So let me just share my screen in case you haven't seen those before. So in addition to today's workshop, we're also supporting an all candidates debate for the Scarborough Southwest riding this Thursday, May 19th, and it's from 7 to 9 p.m. on Zoom. And you can register by clicking that link or scanning the QR code with your phone. I can also send this flyer out to everybody who registered as well, so you have this information on hand. And next Tuesday, so a week from today, May 24th, there's going to be an in-person vote pop-up at Access Point on Danforth. So this is a simulated polling that's going to be held on site. So if you want to drop by and see how the whole setup looks like before you actually go and vote officially, you can drop by at APOD on Tuesday and check that out. I think it's important to mention that you know, these are not necessarily everybody in the room is able to or eligible to vote. But I would mention that these are some interesting opportunities to kind of get to know a little bit more about what goes on during an election, and start to get to know. Oh, sorry, I'm hearing some background noise. Did somebody have a question? No, we're good.
Actually, I couldn't hear the information from you. Sorry. What do you say when in-person information session would be held? Which date?
Yeah, so are you able to see my screen, or maybe not, but next Tuesday, May 24th, there's going to be a vote pop-up at Access Point on Danforth. So it's like a practice poll. So if you wanted to kind of see what the actual polling station would look like, you can go and do like submit a fake ballot and just to get a feel for what it would look like on the actual day that you go and vote. So that's happening in person from 4:30 to 6 p.m. at Danforth. But yeah, these are opportunities to kind of just get to know the process a little bit better, get to know and hear from some of the candidates that are running in not just Scarborough Southwest. There's many other events that are happening across the city. So do check some of them out, even if you aren't eligible to vote. It's great to go and even ask questions and hear what are the issues that are being discussed. It's really a great opportunity for learning. And with that, I think we wanted to do a little activity. Yeah, maybe we can stop recording for this part. Thank you, Orit.